Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we have here a Alfa 147 with a twin spark engine. The customer states that the car misfires and it has a very rough idle, and also it is difficult to start. The car came in here on the tow truck, not to be any more damaged than it could have been, and let's see now what is happening. So take a listen. Now, let's start the troubleshooting. What you to do first, okay? Knowing that the car is in fact with a bad idle and it is misfiring, what do? Connect your diagnosis machine perhaps? Well, first I like to test what is actually present. And the fault that I know that is present, I did not know if you can hear it, is a lack of compression on one of the cylinders. It appears to be during the start of the engine that one of the cylinders is not there. The compression, I mean, okay? So the lack of compression, of course, it will do a misfire, and of course, will do a rough idle. So the rough idle and the misfire are a consequence of the lack of compression, okay? So there is no need to connect the diagnosis machine on this occasion. You just do the troubleshooting by measuring, starting the troubleshooting by measuring the compression on all of the cylinders, okay? Now over here, I'm not against any paint work or whatever, but if you have to paint this plate over here, make sure this area over here underneath the screw is not painted, because this is a release for the static that may appear here on this area, and you want to have metal to metal continuity, so the wire to the plate. So behind this screw over here, I recommend you to be not painted. Now just pulling here the wiring back. You can see that we may have a problem with the coil or something. You may, but not on this occasion. And for now, let's see the compression, because the compression, I know that I have a problem with it. For example, this one was loose, but I know that I have a problem with compression, so I have to address that. With a Rebay 7, normally we have 3 or 4 bolts holding down this plate. I have 2 on the middle over here. Sometimes you only have 1. So, yeah, the paint is still there, so it cannot be. On the assembly, I will scratch off the paint to make it work. The static can create spikes of current and damage something. That's why it's there, okay? Now to remove it, normally with a screwdriver or 2, I can push it up. Ooh, a lot of oil. This will certainly create a misfire, for sure, but it does not explain the lack of compression. Well, this one may. This appears to be carbon from the combustion chamber. Now, why is that so much oil on the cavities of the spark plugs? Normally it is because of the gasket of the valve cover goes bad and oil goes into it. That is the most normal thing. Another thing is, while filling up the oil again on these engines, they consume a little bit of oil, and you do that a lot of times. These two ones, the two first ones, the spark plugs, while you are putting oil in, you can spill a little bit out, and it goes directly into these two holes. On this case of this car, I know for a fact that it was a misplaced cover that the customer forgot about when topping off the oil, but no matter. And why do I want to remove it before I do the compression check? Is this because I do not want any oil to be on the combustion chamber, because doing that will mess up my readings. As you may see on my 75, I use the oil to confirm the issue on the piston rings, increasing the compression of the engine with the oil. To the cavities that are dry, I advise you to blow on them with compressed air like I did, not to have any debris falling into the combustion chamber. On the other ones over here, you can clean this up even better by using some degreaser and sucking it up again with something, with some apparatus, and cleaning up this way. You can also use some spray to, as soon as you break loose the spark plug, the spray will go into the threading. So dissolving here most of the oil on the cavities on these four spark plugs, and then sucking up again to remove most of the oil. Okay. On these twin spark engines, we have 4 spark plugs of one type and 4 more of another type, so 4 normal and 4 special. On early twin spark engines, the derived of the 75, you have just 8 normal ones. Sometimes it clogs. You guys get the idea, right? Now you want to remove the spark plugs and check compression, but wait a minute. First of all, you always want to make sure that the threading on the head for the spark plug is good. So what I will do is to check for tightening. In that way I can see 2 things. I can see if the thread is okay, and if any of the spark plugs is loose, I can have a lack of compression because of that. And I'm thinking over here, these 2 ones, okay? So even if I have spark plugs that are loose, surely I will do a compression check the same, okay? Beware that for doing a compression check, you have to have one of the holes plugged up, okay? It's okay. This one was a little bit loose, or the threading was bad. No, it is good. A little bit loose. Just nice. This one is loose, not too much. See if it does get tight. Yes, it does. The second spark plug of each cylinder is smaller, so it's only 15 Newton meters of torque, so do not go crazy on them. This one also loose, but it does accept tightening. Also loose, and it does not accept, it does accept tightening. Now the 8th one. So bunch of them were loose, some more than others. and I don't believe it was enough to lose compression, but let's check out the compression anyway. What can I do? I can remove the main ones and check for compression, and then remove the secondary ones, the special ones, and check for any more issues. Expect the threading of the spark plugs to be gummed up with carbon because it was loose, remember? That's why I like to put some spray, some lubricant to help out that situation. Excellent. A lot of carbon on the tips of the spark plugs. That is indicative of oil consumption, high oil consumption. And it can misfire, and it will misfire with that. But again, does not cause a lack of compression. Wow, 14. Having a little bit of oil on it, it will jump a bit, but it is quite good, okay? Now just repeat the same to the other cylinders. Make sure to do the test with the accelerator pedal all the way down to have the maximum air possible. Again with 13. Ideally, you also want to shut down the fuel supply. Almost 15 bar. It's dead. It's dead. 0. Oh, I was hoping just for spark plugs. Damn it. Oh man, poor guy. Oh man. Well, this deserves an engine rebuild. Well, before that, if the 3 cylinders over here have so good compression, why does it consume so much oil? Remember, only the top piston ring controls compression. The other two control lubrication of the skirt of the liner. Okay, if those two ones, the bottom ones, are bad, you will have a lot of oil consumption, but you can have a high compression the same. Okay, now with this in mind, 0 compression at all. The one thing that you can do is to remove the head of the engine. Now you can have a problem on the valves, on the valve seats. Well, the valve seats does not make all of this, but you can have a punctured piston. You can have a problem on the skirt, on the liner. A bunch of things can happen. It could happen over here. What could have happened is, with all this oil consumption, is a burnt valve. That is my thinking over here. And for that, removing the head and rebuilding the head will be enough. But this engine also consumes a lot of oil. You can just go away with replacing the entire unit, the engine, with a used one. But the problem with these engines, all of the twin spark engines of this era, is the same. They consume oil. That's why I always recommend you to repair what you have, because the proper repair for these engines is to go oversize on the pistons. Okay, that will last you, well, you just dial the engine to 0 miles, 0 kilometers, and you will have an engine, if it is done properly, of course, to 10, 15, 20 years to come. Okay, so let's see what the customer wants to do. Meanwhile, you have the spark plugs. They are just covered with oil, which means a lot of oil consumption, and in this way spark will not ignite. Okay, I do have a video for this on my 75, how to clean them, and all of that. Okay, it really is a shame. Well, so like I said, one of the consequences of having so much oil consumption on an engine, one of the consequences is this: you have high carbonization on the inside of the engine, on the top of the pistons, on the faces of the valves, and most certainly you have a problem on the valve itself. It is burned through, for example. I'm almost sure of it. I also could do a leak down test, but obviously we have to take out the head to solve that issue, so it does not matter that right now, okay? So going back a few years, if you have oil consumption, well, these engines all consume oil. It is their thing, consume oil, okay? And that will destroy also the catalytic converters and whatnot. That is just its thing. If these engines would have done the maintenance every 10,000 kilometers with good quality oil, probably this issue was not so prominent right now. But it is, and it happens a lot. So please, if you have an engine that is consuming a lot of oil, please do the repairs before you get something like this. So I just got here the engine of the head removed, and also I saw that there the liners are not, well, it is typical for the twin spark engines. The crosshatch is gone, so the oil consumption is very high. If you need, I have a video down on the description how to tear apart here a twin spark engine top to bottom, okay? So what you wanted to see is here the head, and as you can see, first cylinder very cruddy. This is because of the oil consumption. Second too, third as well, a little bit of oil, maybe also a valve seal, and on the fourth one, here you go. That is why it was lacking on compression. Also we can see over here some pitting. That probably was the debris over here of the valve. On the liner it is a little bit scratched, but that is not as important as the missing crosshatch on this case, on this engine, okay? So again, if you need a video how to tear apart everything on a twin spark engine, I have a link down on the description, okay? To do the crosshatch again, you can do that, yes, but you have to measure very well, because most of the times you have a out of roundness of the cylinder liner, and you have to go oversize on the pistons. That is the most usual thing to happen, but you have to see case by case if that is your case, okay? If the crosshatch is gone, probably you will have to go oversize. One more thing, guys, one more thing that can do this is LPG systems, okay? Notice that I have the first piston a little bit before TDC, so a few degrees before the TDC. So no matter where I put my head in relationship to the valves, once I put the head in, there is no way for the valves to touch the pistons, okay? So make sure to see that before you insert the head. So everything is clean the most as possible. Here on the engine block on the bottom side, nothing was done, just a cleanup, okay? The customer does not have the means to do a full repair right now, and he really needs the car. He knows that the oil consumption will continue, but it is just the way it is, and we have to keep pushing forward, okay? So here on the head, it was a full service. I sent it to the specialist, to the machine shop, to do the proper work. I already have here the new gasket for the intake. The head was resurfaced over here. I have to clean this up before going in. I have two new valves because one of them was already starting to go, and I have here already the gasket, the exhaust gasket that I have to put in as I put in the engine head, so the manifold goes in also smoothly, okay? Here on the water pump area, I have a bit of corrosion. I have to take care of that before inserting the head. It's easier right now, and the new seals are all around on this other side of the head. Also everything cleaned up. The buckets, the hydraulic tappets are the same, are not new. Like I said, this is a budget rebuild, so we just want the car to run, and after that, if anything more appears, we have to deal with that, okay? Nonetheless, we have new valve seals installed. The guides are good.
So the bare minimum is done. Okay, here we go. Here for the timing belt I have videos for this. If you want to know, they are down on the description, okay? Gotta give it some time, okay? These coils were very dirty with oil and the cables. I'm trying to save every penny that I can because the customer cannot spend it, okay? So I have to insist a little bit with what I have. But here we go. Guys, down in the description I have a lot of stuff that can be useful for you regarding here crankshaft start, misfires, low power or no power at all, and work about suspension, about brakes, about diagnosing fault codes and whatever. A lot of stuff that really will be helpful for you. And also links for help for the channel, if you are able to do so, are also available down in the description. Okay, I see you next time, guys. Bye.